Good morning, everybody.
Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It is so great to be able to join you all today to kick off 2025. Wendy and I, we do most of ours live, but every once in a while we pre-record because we think, family's home. We're going to be busy doing X, Y, Z. We decided it was too important for us to kick off this year with you all live today.
That's right. Y'all excuse all my Christmas mess in the background. Everything's getting ready to go back up in the attic.
Yes. We didn't drag out as much this year as normal, so ours will be a little bit easier this year, thank goodness.
And I want to shout out real quick to my eldest grandson, Kason Moss. He's 5 today, y'all.
Oh, happy birthday,
Can't even
Kason.
believe 5 years has gone by already.
That is
First
amazing.
one to make me GG.
That is awesome. I can't even believe that. I remember when he was born, and it feels like, how did all of a sudden you went from him to 5? What happened? And 6 now on the way.
We had a little baby boom.
Yes, for sure.
He was a little late because he was supposed to be born in late December, so he didn't make it to He
wasn't the tax deduction for that year. Well, I know that there's a lot of people. We're actually later than we typically are. It's usually earlier in the morning when we come together. And
I appreciate that too, because I worked late last night, and then my mind was going, and my prayers were going. I know you were up praying early.
Yes. Yeah, we had our overnight prayer time, which I'll tell you what, if you all are part of a group, like a small group or something, I cannot recommend this enough. Think about it for next year or for any time that might come up that you feel like you want to do this. But our small group, this is our second year in a row that we've done this, where we have somebody sign up to pray continuously. So every hour we have signups from sundown on New Year's Eve to sunup New Year's Day, and we pray in the new year together. And then we spend usually about a week or so. This year we're doing 9 days, where every single day somebody gets together and at least 2 of us to do a prayer walk, to do coffee somewhere and pray together. But we have a prayer list of everything that's on all of our hearts, and we go through them all.
I love that. How many women are in your small group?
Right now we have 12. And
nice.
2 are not participating this year for various reasons, but 10 of us are doing this. Okay. And so because I tend to do really well in the middle of the night when everything's still and quiet, I volunteered to do 1:30 to 4:30 because everybody was kind of picking different random times. And I said, nope, want to group all mine together, and I'm gonna do it in the middle of the night so nobody else has to. Right. And so yes, bags under my eyes are real. I went to bed at 9:00 last night, but woke up at 1:30 to do the 3-hour prayer time, and then went back to bed, and then woke up to do prayer walk with 2 of my girlfriends. And so
at 3:00 this morning, I was sitting outside doing prayer time and getting extremely emotional because the Holy Spirit was working on me.
Oh,
so my eyes are red. I hope the puffiness isn't too bad. I layered on some castor oil when I got up. I'm running off of like 3 hours of sleep.
You look gorgeous, baby.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Well, I'll tell you, I was worried because it's blustery up here today. So we went and did our prayer walk, and I had on my stocking cap and I had on all the things, and Bill sees me come in and he was like, "You gonna take a shower first?" I said, "No, I took one last night. I don't have to wash my hair." And he was like,
that's what hats are for.
I put some product in my hair, natural stuff, and just my sea salt spray, and here we are.
Yep. Sometimes life is life. You just got to roll with it. That rigid flexibility we're always talking about.
Yes, 100%. Oh my goodness. So today is the day, or probably yesterday, maybe today. It just depends on how people are. I love the new year. I love how I feel every new year. And I'm not a big resolution person anymore like I used to be. Every year I used to write down all these resolutions. I don't do that anymore. But I love spending the last day of the year, or, the last few days of the year, just reflecting on the previous year
Yeah.
and how much has been accomplished, how much growth there's been. And, one of the gifts I feel like that God's given me is, it's taken time. This is not something that I just all of a sudden one day, decided to do. I used to really struggle with, oh, I failed at this, I failed at that, beating myself up,
Yeah.
I don't do that. When I look back on the year and I see a rough period, man, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because I always learn so much
That's
during
what
those
seems
times.
to be when like the growth really bursts,
Yeah.
right? When it's challenging, when
Yeah.
you're beat down,
Mhm.
um, when it's things that you're going through are just unimaginable and hard.
Yeah.
That's when we learn the most.
It is. It is. And we hate it when we're going through it and we kick and scream
It
and we throw
hurts.
temper
It
tantrums.
hurts.
Yes. And
Yeah,
we beg him to take it from us. But the reality is there's so much growth in those periods. And so
absolutely.
as I looked back over the years, well, definitely over the years, but certainly over this year and looked at the hard periods, and
Yeah,
I was just like, wow, God, look at you go.
that's
Look
right.
at how much you showed me during that.
Yep.
So I'm grateful for it, and it's life.
If it wasn't for the challenges and the hard times, we wouldn't be so grateful for the smooth and easy and
Boy,
good
ain't that the
times,
truth.
right?
That is so true.
That is very true.
Mhm. It
So
is.
I know, why don't you tell people who you are? We've got
Oh
all
my
done our
gosh, we like just
introductions.
jumped right in and just assumed, well, hey, we're starting a new year and who are
Hey
these
guys.
people? Oh, as we always start off 7 minutes ago should have said, um, I am Dr. Wendy Sue Massey. I am an alternative medical practitioner, a holistic nutrition specialist, an author, a lover of Jesus, wife, mom, Gigi, Tutu, and gardener, cook, all the things, and owner of Freedom Holistic Wellness. And this is my amazing friend, Wendy.
Hey guys, I'm Wendy Flournoy, certified hypnotherapist, herbal enthusiast, wife, mom, Gigi, Jesus lover of all things natural and non-toxic, gardener, janitor, chauffeur, all the things.
All the things, all the things. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. This is our WOW podcast for anybody joining us for the first time.
That's
Wendy's
right.
on Wellness Wednesday. We do this every single week. We do not give you a time because we believe in rigid flexibility.
That's
So,
right. Lots of rigid flexibility here
yes,
in this house.
yes,
And we
yes.
listen and we don't judge.
Right. I've seen that going around on the reels.
All the reels and the TikToks, they're doing we listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
I love it.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, we've got 2025 ahead of us. And
Yes.
like I was starting to say, it's my favorite time of year. It's not my favorite time of year. My favorite time of year is summer when
Yes.
it's warm and when I have my toes in my garden. But as far as how I feel just about renewal and birth and just life, it's such a beautiful time. And, every day is a new day to begin again.
Reset. That's right.
So you
Reset.
don't have to put such pressure on yourself at the new year. But
No.
there's something about the new year that makes you feel like, wow, you know what? I didn't get this right this year. So this year I'm going to do this.
I think the new year does start it just kind of weighs on people that this is a good time to make a change.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, more so than most times. I
Sure.
think that's this time of year just kind of signifies that
Right.
change is good.
Right.
What happened? The year changes, and how do you want to be different?
Right.
How do you want to improve you?
Yeah. Now, if you're somebody that sets resolutions, not to, make you, not
We
to put any
listen
pressure on
and we
you.
don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge. But guess what? The average time to quit is the second Friday in January. It's actually called Quitter's Day.
That's right.
So don't be there.
That's
And
right.
set yourself realistic goals. And that's one of the things Wendy and I wanted to talk about how we've kind of evolved into the way we do this. And I always have a ton of goals of things I'd like to work on. But one thing that Wendy and I have really started doing over the last few years is to ask God to give us a word for the year. If you've never read the book, daggone it, I should have brought it in here because I own
one
it.
word.
The one word
Best
book.
book ever. I think it's like $9.95 or $10 or something on Amazon.
I put it in for anybody who follows me on my email list, which, by the way, I hope you're enjoying my many emails. I know when I get a million emails from somebody, I'm ready to like unsubscribe. Please don't do that. This is a rarity, but I really felt led to give y'all the 12 days of Christmas and what I'm doing. Totally went off the rails on this, Wendy. But one of the things I'm doing is that I'm really trying hard to give my email subscribers and my social media followers two totally different things. So if you are following me on both, you're getting pretty close to, I might double up on a couple of them, but pretty close to 24 different health tips.
Nice.
And of course, my email subscribers are getting some recipes. They're getting they're getting some e-cookbooks from me. They're getting some links to things that I really believe in. And one of the things, the whole reason I brought that up is that one day I gave my top 5 favorite books right now, that changes all the time, of nonfiction reading, because it's so good for our brains and for sleep and for growth and just so many health benefits. So I shared all the health benefits of nonfiction reading as well as regular reading, but still nonfiction reading really does a lot for you. But one of the books I shared, the very first one, was One Word That Will Change Your Life. And Jimmy Page, who used to go to my church before I went there, is one of the authors of that book. His wife, Evelise Page, wrote the forward in my book. We support their organization. I've been on her podcast. We support Believe Big as their organization, which
great organization.
Oh my goodness. They do alternative medical treatments for cancer patients and have been very successful. I've seen the stories. I've been to functions where they have stage 4 cancer survivors that have completely healed through a lot of their alternative therapies when they were failing with chemo and radiation. It's just fantastic.
It's amazing. The mistletoe therapy alone is worth checking into because it's just wow.
So anyway, as you tell, Wendy and I do this. We weave. We have that art of the weave.
That's why we have rigid flexibility.
Right. But with that one word book that Jimmy Page, which is why I got on that tangent, Jimmy Page wrote this along with some other authors. And he encourages you to, instead of setting a million resolutions, to have one word that's your theme for the year. If you're a Christian, start around Thanksgiving, asking God to give you that word. And he might wait until New Year's morning, like he did with my girl.
3 a.m.
Yes, at 3 a.m. But every year that I've really been prayerful about it, he's given me a word that's been very powerful. And many times I don't understand why. And he gave me mine a few weeks ago, of focus. And since then, focus has been popping up everywhere, as well as him giving me a vision, actually early this morning in my prayer time, of when, because I told him, I said, Lord, I feel like I've been flailing and drowning. And, I feel almost like one of those ducks. You see a duck and looks real calm on the surface, and y'all see Dr. Wendy Sue, and I'm just like, oh, life's great. And underneath the water, my little legs are going, so I've been flailing, and I haven't been understanding why I've been feeling like this. And this morning in my prayer time, he gave me the vision. It was when I finally shut up and let him talk and just got silent, because I can talk a blue streak, go figure. And I finally got silent, and he showed me the vision of Peter walking out on the water to Jesus when Jesus called him out on the water. And as soon as Jesus took his focus off of him, He sank and he was flailing. It doesn't say
Right.
that in the scripture, but I can envision it that he
No, yeah,
flailed and
because
was,
then Peter started doubting.
yeah.
Peter took his eyes off of him and he started doubting and he immediately started
Yep.
sinking.
He took his focus off of him.
Yeah.
So that is what he gave me this morning. It was such a beautiful gift. And I was like, okay, Lord, I get it. I get it. So that's everything that I do, every resolution, which I don't really do resolutions, but any goal I set, it's going to be rooted in that word. And it makes a huge difference. What's your word for the year, Wendy?
My word for the year is restoration.
Mm-hmm.
After many prayers and thinking that he wasn't going to give me a word this year. and I really think I was getting in the way of him.
We do.
Because I feel like he's been putting that in my face for a few months now. Mm-hmm. I will go ahead and tell everyone that the name of my new business is the Restoration Garden.
Yes, it is.
And I've had that for about 6 weeks now. And I just I overlooked it.
And he went, hello, it's been there all along.
Like, this is what I showed you. So, yeah, my restoration, all things God, is what my restoration means to me.
Yeah.
Starting with my relationship with God,
yeah.
my restoration of that, which means he will give me restoration in heart and relationships and knowledge and health and sharing. It all kind of dwindles from the number one.
Yeah. Yeah. Show us that bracelet that
oh yes, my youngest son gave me this for Christmas. My husband has a black with white lettering and it says I'm second.
I love
so
that.
That's just a reminder to me every single day. Who's first?
Right. Seek him first. That's the Matthew 6:33 that's been jumping out at me. Seek him first.
That's
seek
right.
First the kingdom. Seek first the kingdom is what that
because then everything else falls into line. And he convicted me pretty hard early this morning on that I haven't been doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get emotional, I apologize. That's just because I'm tired.
No, it's not. You just keep that mess.
I've been feeling a little overwhelmed with everything that he's been giving me early this morning.
I love you. I love you. And I love your heart. And I love how much you love him and why he brings tears to your eyes. And I know that's where that comes from. And it's
yes, it is.
That's nothing to be ashamed of.
I just don't like to be vulnerable in front of people.
Oh, that's all right. What did we talk about before we came on here? Authenticity.
That's right.
Authenticity. If you all haven't seen that, if you all haven't gotten anything else from us this is episode 21. Can you believe it?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I'm just so grateful for that. And
I am too.
I can't wait till it's 221.
Me too. I love it. It's been fun. And I love sharing.
Yeah.
And I love learning too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been getting so many great messages from people about what all they're learning from our podcast. And so if and not every episode might speak to you, and that's okay. Right. We switch it up just about every week.
Yes. Just depends on what's going on or what's coming up in our lives or different topics, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I do hope that you all will make it a goal to spend 2025 with us.
The whole year, every week.
Yes, every week. And if you can't catch us live, we always broadcast live on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So you can always go back and watch the replays or binge us. I mean, if you really can stand to watch that many hours of us, but
or just have a lot of time. I mean, you know.
And please share.
I'm gonna tell you what, my friend Stephanie told me that she's made us her Saturday morning ritual.
Aw.
Isn't that sweet?
That's awesome.
Well, her Saturday mornings consist of coffee and with the Wendy's.
Oh, I love it. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. And we're getting a lot of messages, but the The growth is slow. I'm still grateful for
Yeah.
what we've had, but I know that a lot of people are enjoying this, but the word doesn't get out if you don't share. So
That's right.
please, and you don't have to share every episode, but if one really
No.
speaks to you, please share it.
Yes, please do. Please
I had,
share it. Please like, please comment.
yeah,
Please
yeah,
send us messages on things that you want to know about or
yeah,
questions you have.
absolutely. We have an email that's Wendy's on wellness@gmail.com. You all can always send us messages there. You can DM us on Facebook or,
Yep.
on X.
You can go to freedomholisticwellness.com.
Exactly. I have the
Restorationgarden.com is in the works.
awesome. That's so exciting. That's so exciting.
I will tell y'all, Wendy's beautiful daughter did my logo. It's amazing.
It is. And actually Kirsty did ours too. The
Nice.
Freedom Holistic Wellness one. So she does good work. I'm real proud of her.
She does.
Yeah. So one of the things I know that we wanted to talk about is just having people understand that you need to give yourself grace when you're goal setting, because a lot of folks put so much pressure on themselves in the beginning of the year. And then when they have a bad day or a bad week, they go, that's it, I'm done. You got to give yourself grace. You have got to expect that, life is crazy. Life is going to throw you curveballs.
Every time.
Your plan to walk 10,000 steps a day might get derailed by somebody ending up in the hospital or by a huge snowstorm or by something that doesn't
or
mean
a new project at work that keeps
Yeah.
you chained to your desk.
Exactly. That doesn't mean you stop.
That's
You
right.
do what you can and you keep moving forward. And this is me preaching to myself, because I am my own biggest, oh my gosh, I beat myself up when something doesn't go the way I planned. Well, you
Right.
know what? That's the problem, because I have made the plan. And it's like, just set the goals and move forward. If you're continuing to move forward, we were talking about books. If you really struggle with this, get the James Clear book, Atomic Habits.
Oh, yeah.
It is
That's
excellent. And it will really help you recognize that even the smallest things, say you can't do your 10,000 steps today. If all you can do is 2,000, do it.
That's right.
Go walk up and down your driveway a couple times. Do something. Don't just throw in the towel and say, well, can't do my 10,000 steps, so I'm going to do a whole lot of nothing today. No, don't do that.
That's right. Every little building block makes a difference.
One of the things he said in that book, and probably the line I remember the most that had the biggest impact on me, is that there's no neutral decisions. There's no neutral decisions that we make. So absolutely everything. And if you think about it like that, everything you do either has a positive effect or a negative effect. There is nothing in life that you choose that has zero effect.
Even when you choose not to choose, you're making a choice.
Exactly. And everything you do, it is sending you either in a positive trajectory or a negative trajectory.
That's right.
Does that mean that if you make a negative trajectory choice, you're, screwed up forever? No. Get it back on course. Not the end of the world.
Right.
But the point is that if you start recognizing that every choice, or like Wendy said, non-choice, is going to have an effect, you will start to want to choose the positive.
That's right.
You might not see the results of you choosing to not put toxins in your body in the first week. You will, actually, if you don't.
You will in the first couple of days.
You will. You'll totally see it. But let's just say, hypothetically, you don't. And, 6 months from now, you're going to look back and go, whoa, that was a huge change in my life, especially as you start coming off medications, and that's just one example. There's been small things Wendy and I have done that we've all of a sudden noticed. It's like a snowball. It's like, oh, wow, this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Every good choice leads to another good choice.
It does. It does. But again, you got to
But
go
you
with grace.
you also have to have grace and mercy towards yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we have to treat ourselves like we would our best friend.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to tell you the truth, but I'm going to love you while I'm doing it.
You know, you just reminded me, there is something that hit me so heavy on Sunday morning. There was a song I had never heard that our worship team sang, and it was called Believe in Your Belovedness. Ooh. And I wrote down all the words in my prayer journal the next day because it hit me so hard. And basically the lines, and I don't have it memorized, but basically the message it gave, and this was so powerful of a message for everybody, is that you believe in, you've already, or no, it was owned your belovedness. That's what it was. It's time to own your belovedness.
Oh,
so
okay.
you own your shame. You own all the mistakes you've made. You own all these things. You sit there and you beat yourself up for, oh gosh, that was a horrible turn in my life. I really wish I didn't do that. You own all these things.
Right.
It's time to own that you're
own the good stuff too. That's right. Own the good stuff too. You got to take it all.
You're loved. And that really hit me hard because I do. I tend to beat myself up and, think about different big life decisions I made in my life that clearly sent me on paths that were dangerous or not positive. Yeah. And it's like, wow, if only I had made other decisions. But, why get stuck there? Own that you're loved and move forward. And I just thought that was so powerful. So powerful. But you got to give yourself grace.
Oh, absolutely. Because I think most of us are like that. I think we will beat ourselves up for things that we wouldn't beat anyone else up over.
Nope.
Nobody.
Exactly.
So why are we choosing to do it to ourselves?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, myself included at times, we tend to get stuck in the past.
Yes.
On our past versions of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And feel like, maybe you feel that you've always been like that. So that's how you'll always be. Well, once you start thinking differently about that, you know what? Things will change.
Yes.
Because we're supposed to change. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to stay those same people.
Nope.
I am definitely not the same person I was when I was 19 years old.
Oh, heck no.
When I had my first child. You know what I mean? We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to gain wisdom through mistakes.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before we went live, and it's like, that's when we learn the most is through our failures and when we fall.
Yeah.
That's when we grow the most. That's when we learn the most. So I'm very grateful for the mistakes and the failures.
Yeah.
Because that's where I have grown and learned. And
Absolutely.
The only mistake is not learning from them.
Yes.
The only mistake is falling and not reaching that hand up because he will pull you up every time.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. And when did we become the old wise ladies? I mean, that's something that's hit me.
Hey, we've always had old wise souls.
Yes, well, we have. But it's so funny because I've always, had like somebody that I, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. I still have women I look up to. But now all of a sudden I'm at that age where I'm like
becoming that woman.
I'm that woman.
You're becoming that woman. That's right.
Yes, getting there. And it's been a long evolution of getting there, but I'm just like, wow.
The older I get, 50. The more I realize that I took my elderly grandparents for granted.
Isn't that true?
You know what I mean? It's like I should have listened more. I should have asked more questions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. And we do take a lot of our older people for granted. So
because we hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
We didn't know. We didn't know what to ask. So kids, if you're listening, listen to mama. I'm not going to be here forever. Listen to me.
Our grandkids.
Our grandkids too. Yes, our grandkids too.
Oh my That's goodness. Right.
So
I
Go
know
ahead.
we talked about that. We wanted to talk about this too, practicing gratitude. So,
Yes.
could you tell us how you practice gratitude?
My favorite way to do it is to do a gratitude journal
I love
where
that.
every single day I write down at least 3 things that I'm grateful for, and I don't let myself repeat them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for 3 new things that I'm grateful for every day. That changed my life.
Oh,
And I'll tell you,
absolutely.
when I first started it, my son's church a couple years ago was doing a 7 Up challenge is what they called it, and it was 7 things every day. And sometimes I just keep writing and I go for 7, but I decided because what did we just say? When you're thinking you got to do 7, if you're in a rush for time, you
Can
might
be
not
very
do any.
challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, you might not do any.
Yeah.
So I would find myself skipping days. And so I said, nope, I'm going to give myself 3 a day. If I can do 3 a day, that is going to be huge. But what it's done for me, it's so much more than just putting it down on paper.
Yeah.
It's made me aware of how much we have to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can ask Wendy. I sent her a picture of my sweet potatoes I dug up the other day. Man, I was having a hallelujah moment. I completely forgot that I had 1.5 raised beds, and we have small raised beds, but I had forgotten. I thought I'd dug up all the sweet potatoes, and I had 1.5 beds that I hadn't touched yet. And I told Bill, I said, Lord have mercy with all this rain we've had and everything and how late it is. They're done. I guarantee you they're all rotten. Y'all, I
They
dug
weren't.
up
They were
3
beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I dug up 3 gallons. I went out with a little bucket, and I was like, "Bill, bring me the big bucket."
And guy was like, watch this.
Yeah, that's exactly. Man, the whole time, I'm so glad we're out on property and don't have neighbors. I'm praising him, everyone I dug up, and I'm laughing. I'm like, "Lord, look at you go."
That's
Because
right.
I ended up with 3 gallons of sweet potatoes, and I was just like, "This is amazing." So I say all that to say you find the ability that wasn't just oh, cool, they didn't rot. No, I was praising him and finding gratitude in that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be something that, you know,
It
that big
can
of a
be,
deal.
it can be so very simple, but
Yeah.
it also could be, I was telling Wendy a little bit about this before we went live. I have a bad habit of not praising through storms because I get so focused on the storm that I kind of forget to pray. I
Yeah.
always thank God and say my prayers, but I forget to actually just praise and worship
Mhm.
because I'm so focused on the storm.
That's right.
So I think what I'm going to be working on is praising while persevering,
Yeah.
no
I love
matter
it.
what, because it's like focus,
Mhm. Yeah.
restoration,
Yeah.
um, it all comes from that. So when we keep our eyes where they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
everything else is going to fall into
I
place.
believe that too. I
And
believe that.
he deserves the worship and the glory.
He does. He does. And we don't always understand what he's working on at the time. So
That's
I mean
true.
it's
Right.
you can look over the past of your life and just see how things have evolved and be like, "Oh, I see where you were in that." You know,
Hindsight, right?
but oh man, but it's hard when you're going through it, but you just have to keep on praising through. And still, when you are in your darkest days, y'all, write that gratitude journal. Find
It
something to be
helps
grateful
so
for.
very much
It
because, like,
does.
you know, in this world, there's so much negativity
Yeah.
that it's very, very easy to focus on that.
Yeah.
And when you focus on that, that's all you're going to get.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to get. You are going to forget this huge list of great things
Yeah.
that you
And you know
have
what?
to be grateful for.
Absolutely. And that's actually a really great tip that's worth sharing today. And it's actually one that my email list got today. I'm pretty sure today was the day I put it out there, was to declutter your life. That includes social media. That
Yeah.
includes any distractions you have, anything that is dragging you down. And the reason I say that, my life changed on social media when I started unfollowing negative people. Um,
I
and
used to see people saying my timeline's a mess and my feeds are a mess. And I'm like, who are y'all following?
Right. Right. And mine used to be. And it was and because the algorithms go to what you look towards. So
Yep.
when I would be heavily focused on politics, what are you seeing? Nothing but politics. When I would be
Right.
heavily focused on, whatever the newest trends are, that's all I would see.
Yeah.
But I have given myself the ability to unfollow anybody that is just dragging me down.
That's
And you
right.
can, if it's somebody that you absolutely love and don't want to, be away from them and all that, snooze for 30 days. It's a beautiful gift that Facebook gives us. Snooze
That's
for
right.
30 days because
That's right.
sometimes they're just going through a season and they need to get it all off their chest. And
Right.
then you
And they're
can
just,
get back
that's
to
their
them.
way of venting. Because I've
Right.
seen that a lot too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people on social media that may be their only place to vent.
Right, right. And good for them if that's something that they feel like they need to do. And I encourage journaling because you can
There is something to the action of actually writing it down.
there is, which is why I think so many people do it on Facebook or on social media,
Yes.
on X, on any of these places. That is one thing. X also, and I love it. I love it for what it is.
Yes.
But there are days that I go in just to interact with anybody that's trying to interact with me, and then I have to shut it down because it gets so negative.
It's time sucking too.
It
It's
is.
it can pull you in.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you have lost 3 hours of production.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually one of the things I'm fasting from right now. In my period of prayer and fasting,
Right.
is not scrolling unneeded,
Yeah.
on
I've
social
gotten to where
media.
I'll go on, I look at certain things or I'll post something
Mhm.
and then I'm kind of off.
Yeah. Yeah. I get on there and I interact with folks, about positive things. And
Yes.
of course, anybody that has any questions for me about posts that I do and things like that. But then I have to take a step back because I will allow it to become such a distraction. And
Me too.
I don't think we're alone in that. I think that's
No,
become the
I
norm
think it's by design
yeah.
that
Mhm.
it works that way.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should be mindful of
Mhm.
getting sucked into that.
Yeah, yeah. Also your email list. If you're getting a million things, like one of my things I'm focusing on is
I am unsubscribing to so many
I have
email things
been.
right now.
I have been too because, and that doesn't mean you can unsubscribe from Wendy.
No,
Do
that's
not
not
unsubscribe
allowed.
from Dr. Wendy Sue. I give you good content, usable content.
But things that I will subscribe to through email for a discount if I'm buying something or something I'm looking at and want more information. Well, maybe that was 5 years ago and it doesn't pertain anymore.
Right, exactly.
But I'm still
Clean
getting
it up.
the emails.
Yes, clean it up because it can just become
Yes.
overwhelming. I'm doing the same thing. I'm unsubscribing from things like crazy.
Yeah, just decluttering.
Declutter.
Yeah.
And
It no longer pertains because we don't need certain things anymore.
right.
Right.
And it's funny. I just accidentally hit our text where I had all of our stuff we were going to talk about, and up popped my sweet potato picture. So
See, it knew you were talking about them.
It did. Isn't that scary? That is scary. Oh my goodness. So the question that Wendy and I were going to ask each other, and we've both agreed that it's probably the hardest question we could have ever come up with, is, and I'm going to put Wendy on the spot. I'm going to make her go first.
Oh.
If we only have one tip for our listeners to improve their health, what would it be?
All right. So I've been pondering this ever since we talked about it. And you are absolutely correct. One tip is very hard, especially for people like us.
Yes.
we want to give them all.
Right.
But I'm going to steal this from my girlfriend, Marty, because her and I were talking about this last night while we were working. Consistency. Because that's her word for 2025.
Perfect.
And I was like, you know what? I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that for my answer to Wendy's one tip on improving your health.
Yeah.
Consistency in prayer, consistency in gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
consistency in change, consistency in action, consistency in health. It can apply to anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you have to put into action what Wendy said too. If you falter, don't beat yourself up.
Mm-mm.
Just dust yourself off and get back on it.
Going.
If you can't do 10,000 and can only do 2,000, then do it.
Right.
If you can only make one change today, do that.
Right. Your decision not to do something is, like we talked about, there's no neutral decisions. Your decision for inaction is actually a negative decision. It's a negative, it's pointing you in the direction of the negative trajectory, and you don't want that.
Exactly. And be proud of yourself when you do make a change.
Yeah.
You know, celebrate the changes, celebrate the small wins, celebrate that you did the 2,000 if you don't normally do any.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because that's huge.
Yeah. And release yourself. When we were talking about earlier, giving yourself grace, release yourself from, I'm telling you, I am psychotic about, you know, when I used to have an Apple Watch, closing all my rings, or on my Fitbit, hitting my 7,000 steps a day is the bare minimum I give myself. When I have a day that I hit 5,000, why am I angry?
Right.
I have no reason to be angry this week because it's the busiest week of the year for Freedom Holistic Wellness, with everybody, you know, coming in new first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I had one day that I had 25 minutes and that was it, to go walk up and down my driveway. I didn't have time to get to the park. I didn't have time to get to the gym. I did 25 minutes of walking and I ended up with 5,000 steps. And why did I pout? That is dumb.
Right.
No, give yourself.
Because you could have made the choice to get none.
You're darn right. And at that point during the day, I was under 1,000. And so I was doing a lot of sitting, a lot of computer, you know, and so what a gift I gave to myself to do that 5,000. So
That's
yes,
right.
Being consistent in progress.
Yes.
I think that's.
And celebrate that consistency.
Yes.
Because that's going to lead to more consistency, you know, and that's why I say, if you falter, don't just give up. Don't just throw your hands up and give up. Keep going. Pick it back up. You haven't. It's just a little stumble.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
That's right. Okay, so one tip from Dr. Wendy Sue.
I want y'all to know that when Wendy and I discuss what are we going to talk about next week, this was my idea, and I have failed miserably. So I decided that the best thing that I could do was say, it depends, because it depends on where you are, right?
In your journey, yes.
In your journey, it depends on where you are. It's moving forward. But if you are a Christian, the very first thing I'm going to tell you is the biggest tip I can give you is, if it is not a priority for you, the one thing that has changed my life was what year are we in now? We're in 2025. So almost 6 years ago, when I made the commitment to get in the Word every day. And y'all, some days it's 5 minutes on my phone in the Bible app, because that's all I got. Yep. But you have got to make that priority. When you do that, when you read the Word every day, even if you feel like that it didn't speak to you at all, that's where the growth happens. That's where the growth happens. I am so grateful for making that a priority. If you have already been doing that, consider doing a chronological Bible plan that goes all year. You know, consider doing something like that. So if you're a Christian, I highly encourage that. If you're not a Christian, I'm going to tell you to seek Jesus, because it will change your life. But
spiritual health leads to all other health.
It does. And if you all have never, I know I talk about this all the time, but it's because it makes such a massive difference in your health. And I did a post on this yesterday. Yeah. If your heart is not right, whether it be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, it will affect your physical health. So if you have decided to choose to ignore your spiritual well-being, your mental health, your emotional health. If you think, oh, well, whatever, I'm just, going through a bad period and I got this, the whole world of self-sufficiency
Right.
that I used to, be proud to be a part of, that I was going to be self-sufficient.
I don't
No.
need anything or anybody.
Yeah, no.
No.
It comes down on you physically. The
Yes, it
stress
does.
you are causing yourself affects you physically. And it might not be today, but it will happen. It
Yep.
will happen. And the downward causation model, if you want to see what I'm talking about, and my very scientific explanation on my website, it's on the homepage of Freedom Holistic Wellness, where you can click and learn more about the downward causation model. That's basically the roots of holistic health. And if you are ignoring any piece of that triangle, of that pyramid,
It crumbles.
it crumbles and it falls down on the base, which is your physical health. Now, for physical health, I will just tell you again, it depends. See, I told you I couldn't do one.
Oh, hey, this was your idea.
I know.
Thank you, Marty, for helping me out.
Yes. I need a Marty to help me simplify. Maybe that's my word, simplify. No, I'm just kidding. Focus is my word, but boy, I'm
focus.
Right. I'm failing at it already. Day one. No. But if we're talking physical, it depends on where you are in your journey. If you are eating the standard American diet, if you are, living an unhealthy lifestyle, start with one thing.
Yep.
As you're going through your pantry, I want you to go through your pantry and I want you to flip those boxes over and I want you to look at the ingredients. And if there is something in your pantry that you could not replicate yourself in the kitchen because it has a bunch of ingredients that make no sense to you, it needs to go.
All
chemicals. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Money is tight these days. The economy is rough. So I'm not telling you to go and throw away all your groceries. Now, if there's something unopened, I highly recommend donating it, to food pantry or wherever. But if it's something you have open, finish it, and then replace it with something that is natural. Get the toxins out of your life. That is ground zero, period, end of story. Now, that being said, when I said it depends, if you have been in this lifestyle for a long time, start looking at what else is in your environment. One thing that you can change, that you can get more toxins out of your life. That was something that I took on, Wendy and I both, probably about the same time a few years ago, where we decided we were going to start to,
make our own
search for things we can make our own. Yeah. Our first thing was the laundry detergent. What, 8 years ago?
I think it's been longer than that.
Might have been. Yeah, because
didn't we do that before you moved to Maryland?
Yeah, I was in Amelia. So probably, 10 years ago, at least 10, 11, 12 years ago. But anyway, we started experimenting with things like that. And we were like, wow, this actually washes our clothes. How about that?
It's actually really good and it's really cheap.
Yeah. And thrifty girls, and was speaking to us. We were like, man, we can make this stuff cheaper than we can ever buy Tide or anything else.
Why have we not been doing this?
Right. So, start with one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself, y'all. I can go crazy. Wendy and I both are the go big or go home girls, and we'll decide we're never buying another, product. No, don't do that to yourself. Do one thing. Look at your personal care products. If anything has the word fragrance or parfum, if it's written in French or anything like that, phase it out. Look for the replacement.
Look for the natural flavors.
Look for the natural flavors in the face product world or in your personal care product world. They're loaded with fragrance and parfum. And that is what is the equivalent of natural flavors in food. It's chemicals. So get rid of it. But again, personal care items are expensive. So I use them till they're gone. And I'm like, okay, what's my replacement going to be? And we try to make some of our own things. But again, go small. Just pick one.
We're not saying that you have to make everything. But I will try making things that I can make. just to see if it's as good as paying. Like, I love the Piper Wah deodorant.
Oh, yeah.
I love that deodorant.
Yeah.
But it is pricey.
It is.
So I wanted to experiment making deodorant just to see if I could make something just as good.
Yeah.
At a cheaper price.
Yeah.
I think I have.
Yay! That's awesome.
And it took some experimenting, I think, because in the natural deodorants is baking soda.
Yeah.
And baking soda can be an irritant.
It can.
So I think my first batch of deodorant when I made it had way too much baking soda in it.
Mm-hmm. Did it burn?
It didn't burn my skin, but it kept leaving like underarm rash.
Oh yeah.
And then it would be irritated.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, I had to tweak that recipe 3 or 4 times before it actually felt good.
Yeah.
It wasn't gritty, but did the job.
Yeah.
And I think life is like that. No matter what you're working with, don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to try. Things are expensive.
Yeah.
They just are. So you have to decide what's the priority for you, where you're going to spend your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I guess probably about, gosh, I keep thinking everything's like 2 or 3 years ago. No, I guess now
time's flying, babe.
Yeah. Probably 5, 6 years ago now, the first time that I made our homemade lip balm.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm telling you, I have people that come to my house that are good friends or are, relatives. My son-in-law just asked me when I was there in December. He was like, Mom, are you going to make any more lip balm anytime soon? And let me tell you something. I put one in his gift bag last year and it's lasted him all year because it lasts
a long time. And, we are those go big, go home girls. But if I'm going to make a batch of lip balm, I'm making a batch of lip balm.
I do it once every 2 or 3 years because I make so much, and it depends on how much I give away.
That's right.
But it's so easy. If you're already making it, it's under an hour. Yep. Why not make enough that's going to last for 3 years?
And if you have one of the little containers that hold the lip balms, the actual lip balm containers that holds all of them. Yeah, you can do 50 in 20 minutes.
Exactly. So, I say all that to say my one thing is simplify and pick one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself. You're going to hear so much from me and Wendy all year on different things that you can try, different things that you can do,
make or
a new focus, I'm thinking, I hadn't told you this yet. Maybe you have other ideas and we'll discuss it. We could always put it off for another week. I'd really like to talk about fasting next week.
I would love that.
Intermittent as well as other, water fasting, different types of fasting. And,
because it's that time of year spiritually.
Right. And so, I want to, encourage people that the more that you hear from us, that doesn't mean that you have to do it all. Don't let what we teach you overwhelm you. Go into this year with the thought that, you know what, I'm committing to one thing. And you know what might happen? You might get to April and go, wow, I've done really well on this one thing. Let me add one more thing.
That's right.
Or it might happen sooner, or it might happen in September. I mean, it doesn't have to be. Every day is an opportunity for a fresh start. That's what's so incredibly beautiful.
Isn't it amazing that we get opportunities and chances?
Yeah.
Every single second.
Yeah. And we're not promised tomorrow, but that was one of the things I thanked God for this morning. I was like, you know what, Lord, thank you for bringing me into another year. And I might not finish this year.
That's right.
Because who knows? We have no idea.
Nobody knows that.
But thank you.
Every morning before I even open my eyes.
Yeah.
When you start stirring in the bed, I still have my eyes closed, and I do that. Thank you, Lord, for a new day.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's a gift every day.
We have gotten to that age.
Yeah.
Where we actually appreciate the day.
Yeah. Every day is a gift. We both have husbands who've had cancer. Yes. We have friends we've lost to cancer and to other
parents and
diseases. And but when you start seeing it happen with people our own age, It really makes you appreciate that,
Yes.
every single day we wake up is a gift. And
Yes.
when you have gratitude, maybe that's my one thing. Just have gratitude. Because when you approach every day that it is a gift and have gratitude for what you do have, you will want to keep pushing forward.
That's right.
You
That's
aren't going to want to waste your day kicked back watching TV every day.
If
You're
you're
going
always striving for what you don't have
Yeah.
and not content with what you have,
Yes.
to me,
Woo,
that's
preach,
sad.
girl. Preach.
You have to be content and grateful for what you have,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that will bring you more of
Yes.
of that.
Yeah. And boy, is that something that resonates with me so heavily, because how many
Absolutely.
years I think about, I've tried to explain to my kids and they didn't understand. I'm a dreamer by nature. I am.
Me too.
It's
Me too,
just,
because we've talked about that compound and the
yeah.
windy farm.
Yes.
Oh, I just ripped the earring out.
Oh no. Oh no. But I'm a dreamer by nature. We both are. But I can tell you there was a period of quite a few years, I'd say 5 or 6 years, that I completely lost because I was constantly thinking of,
About the dream.
yes. And it was when I was nursing and working 70 hours a week. And it's like, that's what kept me going. It was all, I'm doing
Right.
this to get there. I'm doing this
Right.
to get there. I lost 5 or 6 years, not just because I was working my butt off, but because I didn't even recognize the beauty that was happening in me, in my life, right in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And so when I've shared with my kids, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yes, have goals, have dreams, have visions.
Absolutely.
But
you need those. You need that stuff too, but
yes,
that doesn't need to be the focus.
right. Be focused on him,
That's
but
right.
have gratitude for what you already have. Because you know what? Where you are today is what you've prayed for 20 years ago.
That's right.
And
That's
when you
right.
think about it like that, it's like, how awful is it to be discontent over being right where we only dreamed of being then?
Yeah. Well,
So
even down to the fact that we're here.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, 20 years ago, I may have been making questionable decisions that could have led to me not being here today.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% was.
Yeah.
Without
So
a
it's like,
doubt.
okay, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here.
I am too. And God's grace and
Y'all
mercy.
see how sneaky Wendy was? She snuck in like 3 words,
Yeah.
3 tips.
I knew there was no way in this world. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, I could give this, but what if they're at this stage in their journey? And I could give this, but what if they're at this stage in their journey? So let's just say gratitude. That's going to be my one.
That kind of covers it all, doesn't it?
That kind of covers it all.
Gratitude and consistency.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Boy, did we go around a big circle of that.
I love it.
So what do you
so
have?
have gratitude,
Yeah.
Be consistent, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on God.
Yeah. And one step at a time.
That's right.
Put one foot in front of the other. Don't come into this year with 20 things you're changing, because by Quitter's Day, you will have dropped the majority of them, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I'm mad that there's even a name for Quitter's Day. It's like, it's the second Friday of the year. That's what they call it.
That's crazy.
So, definitely.
People really don't persevere a whole lot anymore through things.
No, they don't. They just,
for some reason, that perseverance keeps coming up for me. And it's not just perseverance, it's praising while persevering.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the year of restoration and focus.
Yes. Yes. So next week, we'll be back more on the specific topic. We just felt like New Year's was a great time for conversation about goal setting and about doing, what everybody in the world is thinking about today, and
making change
and giving yourself that grace, having gratitude, and be consistent. I love it. That's the wrap up of our
Love
whole.
yourself like you do your best friend.
Yes.
Be honest,
Yes.
but loving.
Yes. And I love you a whole lot.
I love you bunches. You know you have a really good friend when they're honest with you.
Yeah.
They tell you the truth, not because we've all had those friends that tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yep.
And we understand those people too, because we listen and we don't judge.
Right. Who knew we were going to be trending, babe? We're doing the trendy thing.
But I just kind of, those ones that are willing to be straight up honest with you in a loving way, those friends are priceless.
Absolutely. And you have always been honest with me, and
you with me.
I'm grateful.
I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for what we're doing. I love that people are joining us. I do want us to grow. So y'all please comment, like, share, tell your people to join us, because we want everyone to join us.
If you're new to joining us, there was quite a bit of buzz on social media this week after I did a post about a lady that is a friend of a friend in the Richmond area, actually down near where Wendy's from, who almost died from the GLP-1 agonist drugs.
Did it say which one she was on?
She was on Wegovy.
Wegovy.
Yeah. I was absolutely gutted. All of the stories that were shared underneath my posts. I did it in two places. I did it in on my regular wall on Facebook, but also in my in the Freedom Holistic Wellness group. And the stories of people who, my daughter almost died, her organs were shutting down after, I think hers was 1 dose or 3 days or something like that.
2 days. Yeah. One lady, I was reading all the comments, and one lady said her daughter was like 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah. Another friend of mine who had an allergic reaction to hers, and praise God, she works in a doctor's office, and they were able to save her because she might not have been so lucky. The friend of mine that I mentioned last week, she commented under there about their friend that they lost 2 weeks after he started Wegovy to suicide. But I mean, the tons of people under there. So
that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh,
because
100%.
if those people were willing to come forward and reply, there are so many more that have a story or heard a story and didn't. It's so saddening and so scary to think that doctors are pushing this, recommending this, and people are accepting that they're trusting their doctors. Did we learn nothing from COVID?
Right. Right. And the thing is, again, I do and I don't fault the doctors. There's two different schools of thought on this, and neither is wrong. Some of the doctors truly don't know any better. They are too entirely trusting on the FDA, the CDC, and the pharmaceutical companies.
True.
Some of the doctors don't want to be educated on it because that money is too good.
Yes.
I know somebody who is a big believer in what we teach and went into the business, because that's all it is, of one of these weight loss places when she got her degree, and she told me the money's too good. I am absolutely sickened over that. But anyway, I brought all this up to tell you all that if this is your first time hearing us, we have different topics all the time. And that is a really hot topic right now. And we talked about it the last 2 weeks, for at least part of both of the last 2 weeks. So if you're interested in that topic, check out episodes 19 and 20, because there was a lot of buzz on social media this week about that afterwards.
We'll probably end up talking about it again.
We probably will. Probably will. It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
It is. And
and you can do it naturally. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was having a conversation with a family member about that. I was like, you do know you don't need that, right?
Right.
You don't need anything that costs you extra money with any kind of side effects.
Oh my gosh.
Not
I
being
had,
known and unknown.
yeah,
Okay. Whether it's short term that they know about
yeah.
or long term that they don't even know about yet.
Well,
So it's like you can do it with food and
yeah,
herbs.
yeah. I thought surely, people were getting so much of this covered by insurance that it was very hard for me to convince them that, you know what, come let me teach you
Right.
because because they're probably getting this for free. I saw one lady on one of the posts that I was following about this week. It wasn't mine, that she said, um, well, and she was actually somebody that didn't have any reactions, and she was praising, her 40 pounds that she'd lost and everything. This was a totally different post on somebody else's wall. And she said, although it does cost me $983 a month, I about fell over.
Wow.
I was like,
but I've seen, I even know a couple people that are on one of them and they don't care. They do not care about the studies. They do not care about the short-term or long-term effects because they don't have any. Okay.
Yet.
All they care about is that they can lose weight and they can eat whatever the heck they want.
Yes. And it is going to be a lifelong drug because of that. And many people think that they're going to just phase them out, and they're not. You're not going to be successful phasing it out if you don't fully change your lifestyle. And even then, it's going to be very tough.
Right, because you're not learning how to change your lifestyle if you're reliant and dependent on a pill.
Right. Or an
injection.
Yeah. Yeah. So the bottom line is I do see a lot of people say, "Oh, I've never had a problem." Y'all, yet.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is it's you think that you're going to be immune to this. Is it possible? Sure. You might be one of the lucky ones.
That's right.
But the numbers are rising. Why? Because they didn't do any long-term studies on these. Their long-term studies are people that were on it for 3 years, y'all, and they already knew about a lot of problems. So much so that the FDA put a black box warning on it. The FDA, who we already don't trust, because they approve way too many things, gave it the highest warning against it because of the risk of thyroid cancer and pancreatitis. So if the FDA is giving it a black box warning, that ought to make you scratch your head. Also, I'll say this and then I'll shut up and we'll just talk about. No, I won't. I'm not going to shut up. I always say that. I see a lot of people talking about Weight Watchers because, of course, first of the year, it's a big push. A lot of people join Weight Watchers.
I saw somebody say they went to some kind of medicine or pills or something.
Have you never heard my Weight Watchers rants? Oh my goodness, girl. So I was a Weight Watcher in the 90s, believed in what they taught, although I know now, all these years later that what they taught was garbage because they don't truly teach you nutrition. But anyway, that being said, I got a lot out of it at the time in my 20s, and it was something that, helped me lose weight after having the babies and all that kind of stuff. But they purchased, I did this whole big rant on, and it's in Freedom Holistic Wellness. In the Facebook group, I did a whole big rant because I think now it's been 2 years ago. I don't think it was last January. I think it was the January before. They did a multi-million-dollar purchase of the subscription company that does Wegovy and Ozempic and all of those drugs. So now if you hear the Weight Watchers commercials, they actually mention the GLP-1 agonists in some of them. That should infuriate you. They are doing it to make money. They are not doing it because it's good for your health. They are not doing it because it is the best thing for you. They are doing it so that you keep coming to them and eating their crappy food and take their crappy medicine that they're making gazillions of dollars off of. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So what the heck are you working on this week, girl? We gone on and on about it.
This week I am working on all things Restoration Garden.
Awesome.
I am also working on things for the grandbabies. A lot of the grandbabies have the seasonal snots. I like to call them. But they're all old enough to now have products with honey in them. So that definitely helps for options.
Yes.
And usually with the little ones, it doesn't take a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. And when we get off here today, I'm going to buy that eldest grand prince a present, because I never want him to think that just because his birthday is close to Christmas, he doesn't get a special day.
That's right. That's perfect. I love it.
How about you? What you got going on this week?
Well, we are launching officially January 6th on Monday, the first day of the new 16-week journey to optimal wellness.
Nice.
So therefore, there is a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I have about
not everybody's. I'm looking forward to meeting some new people.
Yes. I have about 10 or 12 people who have signed up, but not all of them are starting January 6th, but a large number are. And I'm grateful for them. But they're going to be the first ones to see it. So I'm trying to get all the behind the scenes stuff ready so that it will be very seamless for them when they are onboarded tomorrow and Friday. So yeah, very excited about that. Also, we have a birthday we're celebrating. My beautiful daughter, Kirsty, will be 33. Oh my gosh. How is that possible?
I don't know. Because I know. You're reverse aging.
Right. She'll be 33.
You're only like 35. How can she be 33?
Right. She will be 33 on Saturday.
And happy birthday, Kirsty.
Yes. And every year with her, I always celebrate. She's such a gift. And I hate that I won't be there in Tennessee with her, but it'll still be wonderful nonetheless. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to be there for her birthday and for everybody's birthday, it works out to where my granddaughter, her daughter is in February. And of course, Christmas is in December. So I have to choose. And so I don't get to be there for her birthday if I want to be there for my granddaughter's birthday and, at the holidays. So, but
nice. So does that mean you have a trip to Tennessee coming up in February?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Late February to celebrate her third birthday. So yeah, can't wait for that. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us for our conversational, much less topical version of Wendy's on Wellness Wednesday. We wanted to do a special New Year's edition where we just kind of gave you a little piece of us and things to think about for the new year. But we will definitely be back next week with more topics. Like we said, probably fasting will be one we talk about next week.
Yes.
And we've got many more coming. So let us know if there's anything in particular you wanted us to talk about. But we appreciate everybody. We ask you to like.
We appreciate everything from everybody, and let us know if you have certain things that you want to hear about or questions or anything like that. But just know that y'all are appreciated, and we love y'all joining us on this journey.
Yes. Our act of practicing gratitude is you all are a big part of it. And we do. Right. We appreciate you guys. So y'all have an amazing first week of 2025. We love y'all, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.